In this episode, let's have a look at the Shure MV88, which is a small microphone you connect to your iOS device via a lightning port for vlogging, ambient sound, and live music. First of all, let's look at the microphone itself. The Shure MV88 looks like it's made out of mostly metal, very narrow manufacturing tolerances. It looks like everything fits together and moves smoothly and works really, really nicely. Just like most of the Shure products I've used in the past, their microphones, everything is always pretty top-notch in terms of manufacturing. It also comes with a foam cover with a plastic ring to hold it in place, and this holds it in place very nicely, so you never have to worry about losing it or by it falling off. And you can adjust the microphone by 90 degrees. So if you need to turn the microphone the opposite direction, all you need to do is pull it out, plug it back in the opposite direction. It also comes with this charming semi-rigid case that you can store it in. This will both intrigue and impress your friends when they find out what you have in there is a microphone. Now, one thing that's very unique about the MV88 relative to other microphones in the same sort of class is that it has multiple polar patterns or pickup patterns, which can be used for different situations. So that makes this mic very flexible. So of course it has a stereo pickup pattern. It also has a cardioid pickup pattern, which may be better suited for dialogue or spoken word. It also has what is called a MidSide stereo pickup pattern, which is very interesting. We'll talk about that more in just a couple minutes. The Shure Plus Motive app allows you to configure the microphone, change its settings, and it allows you not only to choose the polar pattern or the pickup pattern, but also to change the gain setting and to apply effects such as a limiter, compressor, EQ, or even wind reduction. Now, one thing that's pretty interesting is that the Shure Plus Motive app allows you to change the settings on the microphone, but once you close the app, those settings are saved to the microphone so that when you open another app to do some recording, say for example the built-in camera app, it actually already has those settings applied, so you're all set to go. Now, because the MV88 connects to your phone via the lightning port, that's a digital interface, that means that the microphone itself is doing the analog to digital conversion. And that's one of the kind of really sensitive things about capturing audio. And what that also means is that Shure has done a really nice job in this particular case. So you get very, very good quality sound with this microphone. Now let's talk a little bit about the polar patterns or pickup patterns. The first one is stereo, and the nice thing about this is you can control the width of the stereo pickup. So you can go from 60 degrees to 135 degrees, which is a pretty nice range. And what this is good for is for situations where you want to do a stereo recording and you don't want to have to mess with it in post, in editing. So this is a really quick and easy way to do that and sort of fine-tune the width of the pickup or the stereo imaging that you want to capture. The next pattern is monocardioid. This is probably best for podcasting and vlogging if you're doing sort of spoken word or dialogue. This has a narrower pickup pattern and is pretty common type of pickup pattern to use when you're recording dialogue. The next polar pattern is called mono bi-directional by Shure. Most people call that figure 8 or figure of 8 pickup pattern. And what that means is that the microphone picks up on both sides, two sides. So this could be really useful, for example, in interviews. If you're interviewing someone, you might hold the mic between you. It'll pick you up on one side and the interviewee up on the opposite side. Now the next one I think is the most interesting one, especially for ambient recording, and that is called MidSide. And this is another type of stereo recording, but the interesting thing about this one is that it allows you to modify the stereo imaging in post. So you record with essentially a cardioid pointed straight ahead at whatever your sound source is, but then you also have a figure 8 that picks up the sides. And then what you can do in post is actually mix those two together, decide how much of the front you want or the mid you want and how much of the sides you want, which is really kind of an interesting, kind of a unique thing that you can do and actually really helpful if you want to really sculpt the sound. Now, to use MidSide, you actually have to have a decoder in post so that you can essentially convert it to regular stereo for playback. But you can get a free plugin. I use one from a company called Voxengo, and it's called MidSide Encoder Decoder, or MSED for short. It is free, and it plugs into any audio editing application that will take VST plugins. Put a link down below for that. Now, if you're going to be recording outdoors, you will potentially pick up some wind, even with the foam wind cover. However, there is a setting in the app that allows you to do wind reduction. And if you're going to be recording out in pretty stiff wind, anything more than just the slightest of breezes, you'll probably want to look at some sort of furry cover or Windjammer type cover. Shure has one that is actually made by Rycote, which is a company that's renowned for making its wind protection products for microphones. And that's available. We'll put a link for that down below as well. One thing that's kind of interesting is that if you do have an iOS device with a headphone jack, and you're recording with the Shure Plus Motive app, you can actually monitor while you're recording, which is pretty unusual. A lot of phone-based microphones don't allow you to do that, so that's really pretty cool. Unfortunately, for those of us on iPhone 7s, that's not an option. I tried to use a Bluetooth speaker. I don't have any Bluetooth headphones, but I tried to use a Bluetooth speaker, and it didn't allow the monitoring via that. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's available on the newest iOS devices that do not have headphone jacks. So the one suggestion I do have for sure is in the next generation of this, it'd be really, really cool to put a headphone jack into the base of the microphone, along with some sort of hardware control for volume. That would be really, really cool. Now, in Shure's defense, they released this product well before Apple made the courageous decision to remove headphone jacks from their latest generation of phones, but that would be a really, really nice addition. So overall, while the Shure MV88 is probably one of the more expensive microphones that is kind of really designed for vlogging with your mobile phone, or capturing ambient sound, or capturing kind of live music, it does have some things definitely going in its favor. Number one, it seems to have the best quality in terms of its build of any of them that I've looked at. It also has a very good app. It also has a lot more flexibility than most of the others in terms of the polar patterns that you can use. So it looks like it's a really nice option if that's something you need. So there's our look at the Shure MV88. I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those down below. And if you've not already subscribed, make sure you do that, and be sure to get you more great videos on how to improve your lighting and sound for video. Talk to you soon.